Okay, great. I think we now have a quorum, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Fabulous. Okay, then I would like to convene the City of Evanston meeting of the Administration and Public Works Committee of Monday, December 12th, 2022. Let's see, can I get a motion to?
Chair, may I do a roll call just so that we have a record?
Absolutely.
Recording in progress.
Thank you, Deputy City Manager Stonebeck. Please do a roll call. Thank you.
Councilmember Burns,
Here.
Councilmember Reed,
Here.
Councilmember Kelly,
Here.
Councilmember Harris,
Here.
Councilmember Newsma. We have 4 present.
Perfect. Then we have a quorum, and it's just myself online. Okay, so fabulous. Could I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll move approval of the minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Fabulous. And who moved to approve the minutes?
Councilmember Reed.
Okay, fabulous. Councilmember Reed moved to approve them, and that was seconded by Councilmember Burns, I believe.
Correct.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Any opposed? The minutes have been approved. We'll now move to public comment. And Deputy City Manager Stonebeck, if you could please call on those who've signed up. Thank you very much.
We have 2 people signed up. The first one is Tina Payton.
Great.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I would like to object to A15, to Dr. Kathleen Yang Clayton receiving $50,000 again for the 3rd year in a row. What has she or the university done for this money? Who, how, and when has any staff received racial equity training at the City of Evanston? Currently, employees are still executing discriminatory, racist, and biased practices. Does this include aldermen and the mayor? What are the results from the past 2 years? Do you have proof that this training is working? What is the Equity and Empowerment Committee for? I thought this is what they were supposed to do. Why do you have them as a committee and then pay someone outside of the city $50,000? I would encourage you to say no to A15. Black Landlords Matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Payton.
And the next speaker is Mike Vasilko.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. First, I agree with Tina Payton on 815. 814, though, is my primary comment tonight, and it's basically on principle alone, and especially on principle with respect to sustainability and climate action and all the good programs that we're trying to implement. So please reject item 814, resolution 127R22, which is an intergovernmental agreement with the MWRD for Green Infrastructure Partnership Program. I've notified all of you on several occasions that MWRD is the very same organization that is proliferating the distribution of toxic sludge, which is made from human waste and chemical waste. And they're distributing this under the label of fertilizer. This is free, as they put it. Toxic material is being given to farmers in and around Evanston and across Illinois. Practice has been ongoing for over a decade, and to the best of my knowledge, has not been halted, even though the material is well known to those who administer this program to be a toxic material. So I realize it may be hard to turn away $322,000 in a grant, but personally, I'd rather you raise my property taxes to pay for this Main Street improvement projects than accept toxic funding from MWRD. A1, the bills list is incredibly high, 22 million, of which 15 million is for debt service payments, which is, I find, incredible that comes at the last minute in the year. A3, $50,000 cradle to career, referred to as an annual payment, presented as if it's non-negotiable. Please reject this item. I understand there's some sloppy financial record keeping there, and a financial audit should be had to know how taxpayer funding is being used. $50,000, A8, $50,000 for Moby mats at the beach. Why are we even talking about this? I think the beach has survived without Moby mats for over 100 years or so. Don't think we need them. And finally, A10, C.D. Smith Incorporated change order of $219,000, almost $220,000, increasing their contract to $1,409,000. What caused this change order, and why are Evanston taxpayers responsible to pay for it? Thank you very much. Thank you.
That's all the public comment for this meeting, Madam Chair.
Great. Thank you very much, Deputy City Manager Stonebeck. Okay, we now move to item.
It's the consent agenda, items A1 through A10.
Okay, would anybody like to hold, take off the consent agenda any items, A1 through A10?
I will move the,
Go ahead. Councilmember Reed.
yeah, I was going to move the consent agenda, but I got to hold on. So I got someone asking for a moment.
I'd like to take off A3. No other items? Okay.
One second, Chair.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, okay, so I move the consent agenda minus A3.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposing? Okay, the consent agenda has been moved minus item A3.
All right, I'll move item A3, approval of Evanston Cradle to Career annual payment.
Second.
Okay, that's now open for discussion.
No one's, oh, I think no one's light is on, so Chair, if you want to.
Sure. I just, I love, all that Cradle to Career represents and intentions. I just feel like I need a little more. Last year, I know I was the council member to hold that over, asking for like an annual report or some accounting. I wonder if we could hold that just to get some accounting, accountability regarding total revenue and expenditures. That would just make me feel a little more comfortable. I want to support this. So I would like to hold this just to get a little more detailed accounting of, again, revenue and expenditures.
Audrey Thompson is at the podium.
Thank you.
Oh, fabulous.
Audrey Thompson, Director for Parks and Recreation. I am totally fine to hold, council member, to get you whatever you need for the accounting. Kimberly Holmes Ross is trying to get in on the Zoom to answer questions if necessary, but if you're needing a financial report, I'm happy to get that to you. I think the issue may be that this is for 2022, and would that be a problem if we're waiting as far as the payment? So, but I'm happy to provide that information for you.
Yeah.
That would be fabulous. I would be, great. Again, I want to support this. I just feel in due diligence, I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Okay.
If we were to table this, So you're saying you'd be fine with that? There doesn't seem to be an issue if it were to be tabled?
I just know that this is the 2022 payment, and so we don't have another council meeting this month. And so, I would prefer, of course, to make the payment and then provide all of the information. But I do know that as far as accounting, I'm not able to give that information. That would definitely have to come from Cradle.
Yeah, and Chair, are you looking for, I mean, you said you're looking for accounting, but I personally would be interested in just understanding the impact better and where the $50,000 is going and, what programs and services they're able to provide or with the funding.
With all due respect, Councilmember Reed, that's the same thing that I'm asking for. It's exactly that, what the revenue is, what expenditures have been, and therefore, i.e., yes, and extending that to impact also.
So is that information that you all would like over and beyond the presentation that Cradle to Career gave to council about 4 weeks ago?
So I believe that presentation was not comprehensive. It was a general explanation that going forward, there would be a better accounting is my recollection, but please weigh in, any council members present.
So I feel comfortable with the report that was given. I think, in my opinion, had we had these questions, we should have done it earlier to be able to move forward. It's been on the agenda, so I'm ready to vote.
And I'm sorry, I can't see the lights, if it's okay so I would be okay approving this, but I nevertheless would like an accounting going forward, especially if we're going to be looking at, future partnerships. So again, very much appreciate the efforts and interest and intentions of Cradle to Career. Just would like a little more in-depth reporting regarding, again, to Councilmember Reed's point, impact, revenue, expenditures, and impact.
There are no lights on at this time.
Okay, so I will withdraw my hold, but I would like to ask for that, Ms. Thompson, if that's possible, to get a more in-depth reporting on the total revenue, not just City of Evanston, total revenue expenditures, and again, thank you, Councilmember Reed, and the resulting impact. That would be great.
Sure, absolutely. We'll have that for you hopefully by Friday. Kimberly Holmes Ross is, again, she's the interim executive director for Cradle to Career. So she and I will work to get that information to you by this Friday.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
And then we should take a vote on this item.
Yes, I move to accept the approval for Evanston Cradle to Career annual payment of $50,000.
It was
already moved and
already,
seconded,
yeah.
so it's just the vote that we need.
Aye.
Chair, you can call the all those in favor.
Okay, or Deputy City Manager Stonebeck, would you mind calling the roll?
Sure. Councilmember Burns?
Aye.
Councilmember Reed?
Aye.
Councilmember Kelly?
Aye.
Councilmember Harris?
Aye.
It's approved 4-0.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, we now move to, we approved the consent agenda, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So now we're on items for consideration. I will move item A11, Resolution 123R22, authorizing the city manager to execute the Illinois Telecommunicator Emergency Response Task Force intergovernmental agreement.
Second.
There's I don't know your name. You're a new face to me.
Hi. Christopher Voss, I'm the communications coordinator for the police and fire department. I'm here to answer any questions you might have in relation to this agreement.
Thank you.
There are no lights on, Chair.
Okay, no questions currently?
Well, there is. Yeah, I'll ask just one question. So there's a public commenter, I'm sure you heard it, who had some concerns about this. Can you respond to any of?
To A11? I don't,
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe you didn't raise A11.
No, I don't.
Yeah,
believe
my
you did.
apologies.
so.
I guess there's no questions, Chair.
Okay. Would you like to share any additional information with the committee before we move to the next item?
Other than this is a good opportunity for our telecommunicators who, and it may be a biased opinion, but I believe are some of the best in the industry, to be able to help other agencies out in their time of need, and reciprocally as well. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you for coming this evening. Okay, then we'll move to,
Do you want to do a voice vote or a roll call?
I see, that was an item for consideration. Let's go ahead and do a roll, I guess, let's just do a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, A11 carries. Item A12.
I move for the resolution, 124R22, authorizing construction on Illinois state highways for the years 2023 and 2024.
Second.
Any discussion?
There are no lights on.
Okay, and Mr. Stonebeck, is there anybody here to speak on the matter?
Mr. Kano is here if you so desire.
Okay. Okay, well, if there are no questions and no discussion, then if we could do, I guess we'll do a voice vote on this. All in favor? Okay, any opposed? All right, item A12 carries unanimously. Moving to item A13.
Excuse me, we are lacking a quorum now because we need 3 council members in the room, and one of them walked away.
Okay, so we'll wait for a moment for item A12. Did that council member walk away before he voted on A12?
Yes, on the last one, there was
Okay.
only 3 votes, but we need a quorum in the room.
Sure, understood. So we'll wait for him to come back.
Chair, we're going to have to vote on A12 again when the council member returns, which he just did. So
Great.
Can you do your voice vote for item A12 again, please?
Sure. Okay, all in favor of item A12?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, item A12 carries unanimously. Moving on to item A13. Would somebody like to move item A13?
I'll move item A13, Resolution 126R22, Professional Services Agreement with the James B. Moran Center for the 2023 Certificate of Rehabilitation Program.
Second.
Okay, any discussion, or Mr. Stonebeck, if there's somebody who would like to present in the audience?
We have Patrick Keenan Devlin here. I don't know if he would like to present, but he's here if there are questions.
Wonderful. Mr. Keenan Devlin, would you like to share a few words regarding the program?
Thank you, Councilmember Kelly. I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody has. I would just quickly say, because I know you have a long agenda ahead of you, with city funding, the Moran Center served 15 Evanston residents, helping clear their criminal records. Overall, we served 99 Evanston residents clear their criminal records last year. You take out the 15 that Evanston specifically funded, so 84, we found additional resources outside of the city to support those Evanston residents. I know that Councilmember Newsma, who's not present, was asking about recidivism rates. Councilmember Kelly, or Chair Kelly, we do not track recidivism rates because once we close out a case, we no longer track metrics following that. However, over the 10 years that we've been partnering with the city on this effort, anecdotally, the lawyers in our office confirmed that 4 Evanston residents that had participated in our program had been rearrested following the services that we had rendered. And then I would also just like to make note of a critical study out of the University of Michigan that found that people who seek criminal record relief services have a 7% or less recidivism rate. So although we can't attest to the impact of our program, national studies have found that if you are seeking criminal record relief services, the chances of rearrest are incredibly, incredibly low, which is the impact of this work that we do.
Thank you so much. I'm deeply appreciative of the work that you all do at the Moran Center, and I feel it's been a very, very, very incredibly meaningful service for Evanston. Any questions? I'm trying to keep this moving along at a quick clip. Thank you very much for being here this evening, Mr.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, if there are no questions or further discussion, then we'll voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, item A.
I will move item A14, Resolution 127R22, authorizing the city manager to execute an intergovernmental agreement with the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago for the Green Infrastructure Partnership Program.
Second.
Any questions or discussion?
Yeah, so this is, I have it noted here. So this is one that a resident had questions about. So if someone can, Ms. Biggs?
Well, I know that the MWRD does provide this fertilizer material that has been found to have toxins in it. I do not know the status of whether they continue to provide that or not. I don't know at this point in time. But this grant is to help fund the Main Street project. The city is proposing to put paver blocks in the parking lane in that project, and this grant would help pay for that work on the Main Street project.
Thank you. I don't think there are any further questions, Chair.
I think the
Okay. Yeah.
Chair, one last, just if we could have somebody from either MWRD come to a future meeting and speak about it. I know these two issues are different, but I think it would be helpful to have somebody either come to a future meeting or send us a memo or some information through email about this.
Okay, an
Councilman
update.
Burns, are you wanting to hold this to
No.
gather more information?
No, I think the two are kind of separate issues, but no, I'm prepared to vote on this today.
Okay, great. Okay, we'll do a voice vote unless there's others who are wanting to speak or questions.
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Great. Okay, moving on, item,
I will move
A.
item A15, Resolution 128R22, authorizing the city manager to execute the professional services agreement with the Board of Trustees of the University of Illinois and the City of Evanston for the university to conduct and oversee the Racial Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee.
Second.
great. Any questions, discussion?
Yeah, Chair, I know that some, two residents raised issue with this. I am not on the READY committee, but I am on the Equity Empowerment Committee. So to be clear, the READY committee, the Racial Equity, Diversity, Inclusion Committee, is an internal staff committee. The Equity Empowerment Committee is obviously a community-led, citizen-led committee. But the READY committee presented to the Equity Empowerment Committee, and Dr. Yang Clayton was there as well as part of the presentation. I thought it seems like they're doing really wonderful work. I don't see Tashik here, but Tashik Kerr is a leader in that committee. And I think in part because of the work that Dr. Yang Clayton and the Ready Committee are doing. I think that's why we're having the reckoning that we're having now with the black employees. And so I think it is, this is important work, and I support the continued continued retention of the consultant services. But I also am interested in, seeing more detailed reports about what specifically Dr. Yang Clayton and her team are doing.
And I will, after this meeting, send an email to the city council for their year 2, so the work that they completed through 2022. I can provide that information to you in an email.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy City Manager Stonebeck. You'll send that information to the entire council?
Yes, I will.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Are there any further questions, comments? Okay. Yep.
Possibly.
Councilmember Burns?
Yeah, one moment. I'm trying to find. Give me one moment. One moment. It seems like I can't find it exactly, but there was concern from staff about there was some consensus that we need to hire a full-time staff position to partner with the Ready Committee in order to implement some of the recommendations, and I can do this offline. I just wanted to understand that, because my understanding is that it will. I mean, obviously having that person would help from a collaboration standpoint, but the way I'm understanding this is that to do this well, our department heads are going to have to take on some of that work as well. Like, it won't all be done by one person. To be a collaboration between the new I can't remember what we're calling the new position now, but the new kind of equity commissioner position, or I think it's the DEI position. So I just want to understand that, but I would like to schedule outside of this meeting a time to talk to everyone involved in this just to better understand it. But I'm happy to move forward tonight.
And Chair Kelly, the report that I was going to share with the council is actually in the packet, in the APW packet. It's page 4, it starts on page 463 of 535. And that's again in the APW packet, not the city council.
Okay, thank you very much. And Mr. Stonebeck, does that address the question or concern that Councilmember Burns brought up with regard to distributing some of that work, the DEI work, among department directors?
In year 2, some of the directors did meet with the Ready Committee. They meet monthly, and the directors met with the committee and the doctor quarterly, and then ultimately this committee, working with the employee hired to fill the equity position, would collaborate together and then help to roll out the new programming that is desired. This is intended to be the year 3 and last year of this contract, and the thought being that in the future the equity position would lead the city's committee in moving forward.
Okay, thank you so much. Any other questions or comments?
No further lights.
Great. Okay. Then a voice roll call. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great.
All right. Chair, I'm going to move without objection items A16, A17, A18, A19, and A20.
That's fine with me. And you seconded, Councilmember Harris?
Yep, second.
Great. Any questions or discussion on any of these 3 items? All right, then we'll proceed with a roll call. All in favor of items A16
through A19.
Okay,
I'm sorry,
A16 through
A20.
A19.
20.
I'm sorry, A16 through A20.
820, yeah.
Okay, all in favor, items A16 through items A20?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Okay, so with that, we have one last item, item D1, for discussion.
I hope this takes a long time because we're way ahead of schedule now.
I was planning on making it really
That's all
short,
right.
in fact, so. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the committee.
I think we need to move this in first.
I move item D1, discussion of existing crosswalk concerns.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the committee. I'm Edgar Cano, the Public Works Agency Director. I'm here today to discuss our crosswalk review process and also make the committee aware of an increasing number of requests regarding crosswalk safety. So these requests include the installation of new crosswalks, the upgrade of existing crosswalks, and also added signage and infrastructure to increase their visibility. Recognizing these safety concerns brought forth by the public and working towards our CARP goal of providing a safe pedestrian network, staff is looking to review and upgrade our current policy. So currently, the city evaluates crosswalk and crosswalk improvement requests based on criteria set forth by the Pedestrian Safety Evaluation Committee back in August of 2012. Then the committee established our current practice for siting locations and the type of signage and appurtenances that go along with each location. So currently, the process for installation of a crosswalk, the way it occurs is once it's submitted, it goes to the Director of Public Works. The director then reviews it and forwards it to the traffic engineer. The traffic engineer reviews it against multiple criteria for safety and then shares the evaluation with the ward council member. After the ward council member has had a chance to review it, if they agree and if staff agrees, then installation of the crosswalk is then scheduled. So some of the safety criteria involved in the evaluation will be accident history, volume of traffic and the gaps in traffic flow, speed, street classification, and visibility. So taking all these into consideration, the Pedestrian Safety Evaluation Committee created 4 types of crosswalks based on nearby facilities. And currently, these are the items that staff is looking to review and possibly upgrade. The first type of crosswalk out of the 4 is just a standard crosswalk. These types of crosswalks are placed at locations where there's a general need for it that is located between intersections that are controlled by traffic signals or all-way stops. And in regards to traffic markings and signs for that, we install a pedestrian crossing sign well in advance of the crossing. We also install a pedestrian crossing sign with the down arrow at the crossing, as well as a state law stop here pedestrian sign located about 20 to 50 feet before the crossing. And then we also make sure to put down high visibility pavement markings that are installed directly at the crossing as well. The second type of crossing is a school crossing. In addition to all the standard markings and signage that I spoke on previously, we add the addition of a state law stop for pedestrian within the crosswalk bollard. So we put a sign in the center line of the road, and we also put a push button activated LED blinker sign at that location as well. The third is a park crossing. In addition, again, to the standard markings and signage, we include crossing flags just to make it a little bit more visible for the people crossing the street near the park. And we put signs advertising for pedestrians to look both ways before crossing. The last category is a senior crossing. Again, in addition to the standard markings and signage, we add a senior crossing sign at the crosswalk. And then we also install a state law stop for pedestrian crosswalk sign, again, in the center line of the road there. So rather than continue to utilize the 2012 guidelines, we're recommending that the guidelines be updated. We're getting a lot of requests that we see the benefit of installing some of these signage and infrastructure in other locations. So we also believe that we need to take a look to see if any of the 2012 guidelines are outdated. And so we are proposing to proposing that we review the current plan as well as any state, local, and federal standards, and that we come back to council sometime before March 23rd, it's March 2023, the latest, to give you our recommendations. So I'm here today just to, again, make you aware of this, see if there are any questions and if there's any feedback from the committee at this time.
Chair, I'll jump in. I appreciate this update. I would love to see, as you're coming back, just some images of what this stuff looks like
Okay.
in practicality. And other than that, thank you. This is a huge issue. I get a couple emails, and you know about it, I'm sure. I get a couple emails a year about, or more than a couple, but with folks concerned about pedestrian safety, particularly in my ward around Oakton Elementary School. So this is work we need to do.
Thank you.
Are there any other lights on? So I have one question. So thank you, Mr. Kano. So I assume there's, you're developing a prioritization for these crosswalks based on the things you mentioned, like speed, volume, the different categories like senior and park crossing and school crossing. Will those, the highest prioritized areas be, how will those be spread out over a couple of years? Or I'd love to see what the plan is in terms of prioritization of crosswalks and a time frame.
That's one of the items that's going to be evaluated during our process, during our review. We currently do have a few requests, as Councilmember Reed stated, that are good candidates to move up and prioritize. But in its totality, we're going to be doing that in the review and come back to council providing some recommendations.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I did have one quick question, Chair. It says crosswalk with LED, and then it says blinking LED. I get the blinking LED, but the LED one, is it just a light that's on all the time, or what is I'm trying to understand crosswalk with LED that isn't blinking, or does that one blink too? In green? I'm looking on the types of crosswalks in Evanston at locations without traffic signals or all-way stop signs. There's a map in the packet. And then
in the map?
There's a kind of legend on the side that has the green circle crosswalk with LED and in-street signs, and then it says crosswalk with blinking LED. So I'm just trying to understand. I get the blinking LED.
I think they're the same, we just didn't have enough space to put the word blinking.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure I understood that. Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Great. I believe that's the last item.
That's correct.
Fabulous. Okay. So with that, I'd like to, would somebody like to move?
You can just adjourn the meeting, but planning and development will start promptly at 6:15.
Okay. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Any opposed?
Nope.
Great. Okay. All right. Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.